thing. I never get to watch anything, and Game of Thrones isn't coming back on until 2019.
What's up with
So
that?
I really have nothing to watch. So it is what it is.
I want to say best ways to follow the show is Late Night Parents. LateNightParents.com is a way to follow the show. Great follow on Twitter is Bucco Bruce 83. He talks a little bit about everything, mostly about sports. But if you want to know,
you have to handle some vulgarity.
You got to be able to handle it. Well, that phone call before was a little bit of vulgarity. I said,
God, yeah. Not that bad. Not that bad.
I said, what does my what taste like? I said, what?
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat it. But,
oh, my goodness. Well, Bucco, there's a lot to cover here, man. What's going on with the family? The family is expanding, looking beautiful on social media. What's the deal with that, baby?
I am far more blessed than I deserve, sir. All 4 children are healthy and happy and spoiled and good to go. The newest addition, my first son, is 8 months, and he's already picking himself up and standing up and probably going to be walking soon. He's a physical anomaly. He's as big as most 20-year-olds. He's already 24 pounds and like 28 inches long. He's huge. That's my retirement plan there.
He's following in the footsteps of his dad. And, yes, that is your retirement plan right there. So, wait, are you saying you're going to be football's version of LeVar Ball with your son?
No, I will not be pimping my children for fame and money. No, that will not be me.
Got you. Hey, the last 24 hours, Bucco, there's been a couple of hit pieces out there. Everyone, the entire world's been talking about that ESPN hit piece on the Holy Trinity of Belichick, Kraft, and Brady, and the business partner Guerrero and Jimmy Garoppolo. Fact or fiction, Bucco? What's the deal with that? What's your take on that?
There has to be some fact to it. Man, with a lot of these things, man, when there's smoke, there's fire. Especially when it comes regarding like rifts inside organizations, man. There's a lot of undertaking, a lot of power struggle, a lot of egos amongst these millionaires, man. There's not a more prideful, egotistical person in a room full of millionaires. You know what I mean? So there has to be some truth to it. And with some of the moves that have been made, with some of the handlings of things, I can see some of it having some truth. I mean, I don't know who Seth Wickersham is. I've never heard this name before Friday. I have no idea who this guy is, but he seems to have some legitimate sources, and he's naming some names, so there's got to be some legitimacy to it.
I think he's talked to multiple staff there in the Patriots organization. I mean, you think about it. Bucco, you're the gunslinger, and you got some young upstart, and they're going for the crown. Are you going to do everything in your power to train them, show them the ropes so that they can toss you out the door? Or are you going to be like,
Here's my take on it. Now, this obviously is a theory. I have no knowledge or predetermined situation with what's going on here, but here's the way I'm looking at it. If you hear anyone talk about Brady and or Belichick, they don't really give either of them their credit individually. It's always, if someone's praising Brady, it's because he had Belichick. If someone's praising Belichick, it's because he had Brady. So my theory on the whole thing is, here's Belichick. He wanted to win with Garoppolo. And according to what I read in the report, the article stating Kraft said, no, Brady's our quarterback until basically he falls apart and dies. And so in order to get back to that organization, he trades the quarterback of very high value. If you remember just this offseason, this spring, earlier this year, they were talking about multiple ones, I think, was the rumor for Garoppolo. And he picks up the phone and calls San Francisco and says, here, give me a 2. You can have him. You know what I mean? There has to be some stuff to that. And then they go and they sign Stephon Gilmore, a marginal corner, to the highest contract of any corner in football. I'm thinking, my opinion is Belichick said, if it's F me, no, it's F you, and he's sabotaging them a little bit. That's what I think is going on. That's my opinion.
Bucco, tell me, how thirsty of a Giants fan do I need to be, and that's New York Football Giants, to hope that Belichick and Dave Gettleman can get together and become a mercenary team and bring the New York Football Giants back to, some form of relevance?
Well, just like me, until recently, saddened by Oakland, I had grandeur and high hopes of Gruden coming back to Tampa. You always want somebody that started with you, right? You always want someone that was a part of your successes. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Parcells and Belichick and company were there, the Giants were, a year-in, year-out contender. They were respected. They were a legitimized team. So, no, it's not petty or low on their part for wanting the Belichick-Gettleman combo, wanting that. But, Ted, I want to hit the Mega Millions tonight. Am I going to? Most likely not. And then if Belichick steps away from the Patriots, he can't go and assume the job at the Giants. So, no, the thought process behind that is not even possible. So let's just let that go. But I do think, if you're asking me my opinion, I think that this 2017 season is Belichick's last with New England. I do think that.
I would say this much, Bucco. Dynasties don't last forever. There's a shelf life on everything. And we always used to talk about shelf life. We would always talk about that. And the fact that his OC and his DC, they're gone. They're going to be head coaches somewhere. They're going to be out the door. Now, whether or not that they...
At least one of them. Yeah.
Yes,
at least one of them, yes.
At least Patricia, I'd say that much.
Yeah.
The DC. I'd say he's going to be picked up somewhere. Now...
I don't think he's deserving. I don't think he'll be a good coach. But you're right. He'll get a job somewhere.
And that's just the thing. That's just the thing, because I think even when you look at Bill Belichick, you look at how many failed coaches have come out of his coaching tree, and you wonder why. Why is that the case? Why didn't they have the goods from Mangini on down? Romeo Cornell.
Yeah. The imitation is the highest form of flattery, but replicating is damn near impossible sometimes. Like the old adage, I think it's said about Nick Saban and some other guys, like the teacher to the student. The teacher tells the student, I've taught you everything that you know, but I haven't taught you everything that I know.
Right.
So that they go out there thinking they got it all figured out, but they can't operate like Belichick. They try to replicate what he does, but can't do it. And it's just what it is.
So, what are your thoughts on Brady playing till he's 41? He's going to be 41 in August.
I think he said 45.
45.
45. The man, God bless him, the man has devoted his life to eating nothing but avocado ice cream is his splurge. You know what I mean? God forbid he eats a Little Debbie like knife at behind or something. But he really is dedicated to his craft. But there's only one man that's undefeated, and that's Mr. Father Time.
That's true.
Eventually he's going to grab him. Now,
that's true.
I do think what Brady is, what he embodies, what he represents for that organization, and how he's taking lesser money to help the team, things of that nature. If I'm Bob Kraft, if I'm the Patriots, yes, I owe everything that I stand for right now to Tom Brady. Because without Tom Brady, all they are is a two-time Super Bowl loser. You know what I'm saying? And they owe him that. So if he still has it, let him play until he doesn't have it anymore. But they just gave away their plan B.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's got Belichick hot, is that if I switch to Garoppolo, I can get him at a team-friendly deal, and we can move on from Brady and get capital for Brady, and it'll help the future going forward. Because I think Belichick wants to win without Brady to prove that he can. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I don't think Robert Kraft has given him the ability to do that, so he's probably a little butthurt about it. He wants his legacy to be his standalone legacy, not tied to Tom Brady.
You got a 41-year-old quarterback, a 65-year-old head coach, a 73-year-old owner.
Mm-hmm.
You're right about Father Time, and I think Jonathan Kraft, the minute this thing implodes, Robert Kraft's son is going to step right in there. He's going to run it much differently. I think they did kind of chap their tail somewhat by giving away Garoppolo for next to nothing. That's your succession plan right there. And, you know, I mean.
Can I say this, Ted? Can I say
yeah.
I don't want to anoint Garoppolo. I don't want to anoint him as the second coming.
Okay.
Well, I think it needs to be noted. The man has started 7 football games as a pro. He's won all 7. He's won the most games to start his career without losing one of all time. That has to be said. You know what I mean? And for Belichick to draft this guy in the second round and have the wherewithal with Tom Brady to spend that high of a pick on the guy and groom him for them to tell you they ain't going to let him play, you know, the San Francisco, I don't know if John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan are fishing buddies with Bill Belichick, but they owe the next future of their organization to Bill. Period. It's awesome.
There were some talks in that hit piece that went out last night that Garoppolo was offered a 4-year deal for $17 to $18 million a year. What in the world? That you don't give that to a number 2 guy, Bucco.
No, but that's where I have respect for Jimmy. That man turned down that money because he wants to play.
He wants to play.
And you talking to me? You talking to Bucco, the working class guy? You gonna give me that much money to hold a clipboard? Oh, sign me up, please, Lord. But, I got all the respect for that
guy. I foresee. I mean, unfortunately, you know, I'm the fan where I give you guys so much respect because you guys are truly analysts. Truly, you know your craft. And I was always sitting there as a fan. And I tell you, for me as a fan, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, everything runs through Foxborough. Everything runs through them. They're the champs, period. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. Would I be rooting for them? No, not necessarily.
No, dude, Ted, you had to deal with this for 18 years.
Right.
18 years you're a fan of a team that you know you're screwed. No matter how good you are, no matter what, you're screwed.
You're screwed in my division. In my division.
So I know that there's not one guy that I can pick up the phone and call that is more happy of there being tension and a rift in New England than you. So I hope for your sake they're going to, have these problems and come back closer to the pack a little bit. But I got to draft you a quarterback, will you?
That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Hey, let's talk about that Godfather offer that happened. John Gruden, Godfather offer.
Don't do it to me, Ted.
Is anyone worth that type of money?
Yeah, I mean the 10-year length of contract is what baffles me because obviously we know the grand scheme of things. He's had a 9-year layoff. There is some possibility that maybe the game is past him, but I doubt it because he's a football guy. I expect. Joe Gibbs did the same thing, and I expect Joe Gibbs to hit the ground running. Yeah. So here's my thing. To Tampa Bay, as a Buck fan, the city was turned up. We were ready to get the prodigal son back. Everybody my father on board, everybody on board, ready to go. Let's do this. Then the report came out that after everything was likely to happen, oh, yeah, Dirk Cutter's going to be retained as coach. And I was like, look, what's going on? So I read into it, and it's a 10-year, $100 million deal with a possible ownership stake. If that man wins the Super Bowl, he gets a stake in that team, right? And I have 3 brothers that share ownership of the team. So obviously, the pot of my team is already split amongst 3 guys. They're not matching that. They're not paying that price. And I can't necessarily blame them. But then, in retrospect, go and look at Sean Payton, $8.5 million. Go and look at Belichick, $8 million.
You're right.
Go and look at all of these coaches that make close to that money. And let me ask you, as a football fan, Ted.
You're right.
If he gets one Super Bowl, is $100 million worth it?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
I did not factor that in.
We traded 2 draft picks and $8 million of cash to Al Davis just to get John Gruden. It was worth every flipping penny to get that one Super Bowl. I don't care if we've been absolute trash since. That feeling and the amount of money that I made in 2002 makes it all worth it, Ted. It makes it all worth it. So, congratulations to Oakland. I'm happy for them. I'm sick for my team not being able to have them and stuck with Dirk Cutter and Mike Smith again. So, you won't hear any high hopes or playoff predictions from me this year. Shit.
When the numbers were coming out, Bucco, the numbers were coming out, and it was mentioned Gruden's coordinators got 4-year guaranteed deals. 4 years. I said,
you go and look at the coordinators he brought in.
Right.
Every guy that he's brought in to his staff, Warhawk, the offensive line coach, Gunther, the DC, Greg Olsen, the OC, all of these guys, every one of them have over 20 years of coaching experience. And every one of them have worked with Gruden at some point.
Yep.
All he's bringing in is the old school foot to butt, excuse my language, late night parents. The old pound of rock football mentality. This game has become a finesse, afraid to cuss out a ref, afraid to grab a player by the face mask and give him the business. Lee and I hate it. That's the main reason I wanted John Gruden back, because he'll coach up a player on the sideline. He'll game plan every day from 4 in the morning to the midnight, whatever. And then on the sideline, you see him all day working the ref. Little intangibles like that are what separate the good coaches from the bad, because you all know football. You all can diagram a play. You all have immense amounts of knowledge. It's the little things that separate the regular coaches from the great. And Gruden has the thing that separates them. I wanted him bad, and I think that he's going to have success immediately. I'm happy for him.
So I got to ask you on the flip side. On the flip side, what in the world is he doing calling the Titans and Kansas City for ESPN?
Well, this is technically the last Monday Night Football game. This first wildcard weekend playoff game is ESPN's only contracted playoff game. So naturally, you're going to put the Grudens out there. They don't have anybody else. You know what I mean? They don't have anybody. I mean, the guy Gruden's working with might be the worst play-by-play guy on TV. He's working with ESPN. His name's Sean McDermott or whatever.
McDermott. Big drop from Tirico. I've always been
huge drop.
Huge
drop. But I got a little nugget for you. I did some thinking. And
what you got?
The ESPN, with their firings and their negative PR situation they have right now, I had a little idea of who they could bring in to replace Gruden that would, A, be respected, and B, bring viewership.
Who you got?
I want to run it past you, see if you can get with me on this. Peyton Manning.
That's a showstopper right there. That's a showstopper right there.
He's trying to stay in the limelight with his commercials. You know, he's losing a little bit of coin with the Papa John's situation right now. Maybe he wants to get his face back out there.
That's a showstopper right there.
CBS hit the home run with Tony Romo. Yeah. Here's ESPN, the biggest copycat of all copycats. Let me go and get paid. What do you think of that?
I think big time of that because, like you said, here you go. You got somebody who knows the game, who can sit there and call these plays, offense, defense, with the eyes closed. Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I was them, I'd be back in the biggest Brinks truck to his complex and see what it takes. I mean, because it seemed like every 2 or 3 years, Gruden was getting a new contract from ESPN because of all the movement every time his name was mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that deal. Hey,
I'm the first to mention that. That's an original thought. I didn't read that online. I came up with that. So anybody steal it from this program,
this is Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show is latenightparents.com. Talking with Bucco Bruce. You can find him. He's a great follow on Twitter, Bucco Bruce 83. Bucco, you are Jack Dorsey, the new GM EVP of the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
You got Darnold, Rosen. You got Barkley. You got Lamar Jackson. Who are the Browns taking with their number 1 pick?
Well, I mean, even though I don't like it, I'm really not a fan of players voicing, like, I don't want to go to the team. You know, Rosen has been, through his people or through whomever, extremely vocal about not wanting to play for Cleveland. But I think as Cleveland, you know, prideful organization, you don't want to draft a guy that doesn't want to play for you, right? So I think the obvious pick is going to be Sam Darnold at 1. And then, you know, with the Deshaun Watson trade, they also have the number 4 pick. So how big would it be for Hugh Jackson, for the Browns, trying to get some notoriety after this 0-16 debacle? You take Sam Darnold, one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, and they're at number 4, you grab Saquon Barkley. Second coming of Adrian Peterson. I think that's a no-brainer the way you go. Now, I wouldn't be mad at them at all if they take the quarterback and, say, a Connor Williams, offensive lineman from Texas, or the McGlinchey kid, the offensive tackle of Notre Dame, to play guard or something. I couldn't get mad at them at all if they went offensive lineman with the quarterback. But I think Crowell is an impending free agent. I think Duke Johnson also is nearing the end of his deal. And in that division, in those weather conditions, a running back like Barkley just makes all the sense, and the quarterback obviously number 1. I think that would be a big get for Hugh Jackson and Dorsey over there in Cleveland. But you also got to weigh one thing here, Tim. John Dorsey, when he got hired on with Kansas City 5 years ago, his first move that he made was trading a second-round pick to San Francisco to get Alex Smith.
Right.
Alex Smith entering the last of his deal in Kansas City, and they want to move on to Mahomes, so he might be able to work a deal out with his own guys and drag Alex Smith over there for a year to let young Darnold or whomever to select groom for a year. I think that would be wise beyond his years, but we'll see. It's a very interesting situation. I think they have 5 of the top 40.
Yes.
Yes. They can definitely make some. They can make some things happen.
They can make some moves. You know, you in the ATL area, you know, beautiful Georgia. Have you been hearing a lot of mess going on up here with Eli and the Giants, and this guy getting fired, and Eli not, you know, we're at the point now where You got Dave Gettleman here. You got the Giants know they have to find some type of successor to Eli. I got to tell you, Bucco, it's a messy situation up here, real messy, and it's on TV every day. Every day, you just hearing this, and at what point and I understand, but when you have these 36, 37-year-old non-mobile quarterbacks, when do you fish or cut bait?
It should have already happened. That's why the move has been made to, was it Jerry Reese, right?
Right.
Jerry Reese. I mean, Ben McAdoo, first of all, Ben McAdoo should have never been hired as a head coach. Ever. He's a borderline good coordinator, if that. They disrespectfully treated Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Disrespectfully treated Eli Manning. Basically, everyone within that organization, including Jason Pierre-Paul, everyone that has any star level, they disrespected them in some capacity. So the whole way that organization's been run has been laughable and unbecoming of a team with that much pedigree and history, right? So Gettleman has his, his aura about him. He has his hopes for Giants fans to do better and get better. My advice to Giants fans is be patient. It's going to be very hard for you to be patient because even if you draft Josh Rosen at whatever his name is, Rosen out of UCLA, he's not going to start for you year one. So that's not the smart move. You got Eli Manning with guaranteed money in 2018 and 2019. I believe the total, I think, is over $30 million of still guaranteed money. So it's dumb for you to get rid of Eli and let him go play for someone else against you and still pay him that money. So, yes, you draft your quarterback, you draft your future, and you let Eli play one more year. But if you have this grand design of being back in Super Bowl contention this season, then you're selling yourself short.
Hey, I want to talk about this weekend, rookie running backs. Who are you expecting to have a breakout weekend? You got kamara, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette.
Well, you're asking which one I think has a better weekend? I'm going to go with the one that's playing the worst defense, and that's Kareem Hunt. Tennessee might be the worst playoff team I've seen in 5 years. They suck. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Really?
They're backdoored into the playoffs. I think personally, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. You know this. But I personally think Jacksonville tanked against Tennessee on purpose because they knew that they were going to play San Diego if they beat Tennessee. And between me, you, and that toilet tissue over there, I'd rather play Buffalo than I would San Diego. San Diego was on fire. So honestly, Tennessee don't deserve to be there. They're going to get boat raced. They're going to get blown out. And I think Kareem Hunt has a huge game. If you're in any kind of DraftKings for wildcard weekend, definitely put Alex Smith and Kareem Hunt on your roster. I think they have a huge game.
So you're saying they're totally in two different leagues, Kansas City and Tennessee. I mean,
Tennessee's that bad.
Okay.
Defensively, they're bad. And for all these people that played this game with Mariota, comparing it to James and things of this nature, I hope you have finally realized the error of your ways and will finally shut up and not talk to me about Marcus Mariota anymore. That guy's a bum.
Hey, how tired were you of hearing about 1999, the Buffalo Bills haven't done anything, all these different quarterbacks, Frank Reich?
Well, I was actually happy for the Bills Mafia and the Bills faithful. That's one of the most faithful, enduring fan bases, and they get to go in there. Hey, but here's what pisses me off, Ted. Now that Buffalo and the Rams have made the playoffs, here's my lowly Buccaneers. We're second to only Cleveland for the longest playoff drought.
Yes.
I don't like that. I don't like that one iota. So Tampa Bay Bucks better start winning, man. I'm getting I'm getting damn tired of winning in March and being sad in December. I'm getting aggravated.
So you're telling me this much. If there's no Shady, then you're not concerned about Blake Bortles having a bad game.
Honestly, I think the Jacksonville defense, and this time of year, defense is what wins you the game. I think the Buffalo, I think, is 30th in the league in giving up the run. They're terrible at stopping the run. I think it's a big day for Leonard Fournette, a big day for the Jacksonville defense. And if you like 1976 style football, you will love this game. It will be boring. It will be low scoring. But yeah, I think Jacksonville wins easily.
So if Blake Bortles stinks up the game, Bucco, are we going to be talking about Kirk Cousins and Eli Manning?
Well, they're idiots. They're dumb enough to have picked up the fifth-year option for Blake Bortles. So I think we got one more year of Blake Bortles.
Oh,
he has shown flashes, Ted. He has shown abilities to be confident, and then he has turned around and made you question everything you know about quarterback play because he's actually playing in this league. It's unbelievable.
So would you say Atlanta versus the Rams game of the week? I mean, I've seen so many people just run through that Rams secondary.
I think Atlanta goes out there and wins. The last line I saw was they were giving LA 6 points. I'm not advocating anyone gamble. That's not what we do here on Late Night Parents. But if you were to have some juice boxes you want to rid yourself of, put them on Atlanta this week. I think you'll get some good dividends on that. I think the Atlanta game, the game of the week, but the Saints Panthers, that's going to be a barn burner. That's going to be a hell of a game too. It's hard being in a division represented by three of the best teams in the league and you not being one of them. But I think all three of the games involving NFC South teams are going to be good games.
What's your expectations for Cam Newton for Sunday evening? Do you have any expectations for him, or is he still that immature, 27, 28-year-old?
I don't even think it has to do with maturity, Ted. I mean, this is who he is, man. Okay, I'm going to say this with the risk of catching some backlash or this.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give it down. He is the best running back to ever play quarterback.
But I'm with you on it.
He has one hell of an arm.
I'm with you.
He has one hell of an arm. He can make a bunch of throws, but he is not a legitimate passer of the football. He can run the ball better than any quarterback that ever suit up. So you're telling me I'm down 7, and I got 48 seconds left with one timeout, and I need you to pass me the ball precisely down this field. He might be the last one that I picked to do it. Just putting that out there.
So if I'm not mistaken, you're picking KC, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and I'm guessing New Orleans. Where's your boy Hez? Wait. He's not watching in the NFL this season. You picking New Orleans or over the Panthers?
As much as it pains me, because I despise that terrible team over there. New Orleans has something special. They have balance. They have defense. They're probably going to make it to the NFC Championship game and lose to Minnesota, in my opinion. But there's something there. They are legitimate, and it would be fitting that Hez not watching football as widely good because it's Hez. No, I just play. But everybody has their issues that they stand for. I mean, you stand for something or fall for everything is what they say. So I'm not going to knock any man for their political stance or their social stance. I just don't think ever turning your back on the team that you grew up watching, you grew up loving, and not being able to partake in one of the best seasons you've had in the last decade, that's got to hurt for him. I feel bad for him. But, hey, man, I hope he's at peace with what he's going through. So that's where I'm going to leave that.
Gotcha, brother. Well, Bucco, I want to, as always, we can find you on Twitter at BuccoBruce83. Want to make this, I guess we'll talk through these picks as we talk through them. Got to have you back for the next round because you're one of the greatest football minds that I know. And, you know, you're
apparently you don't know enough people, so
you're confident about it. No, I just know a lot of people that just talk a lot of trash, and they just can't back it up.
I got you, brother. Hey, man, it's always a pleasure, dude. Anytime you know the number, just
gotcha.
We'll be here.
Gotcha. Thanks again, brother.
All right, stay blessed.